Making It Personal with Bishop William Joensen on Iowa Catholic Radio and iowacatholicradio.com.
Welcome to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen. I'm Kelly Mesher-Collins with the Diocese of Des Moines. On today's show, we're visiting with Ken Schreiber, Athletic Activities Director of St. Albert Catholic School in Council Bluffs, recently named the 2022 Athletic Director of the Year in Iowa. Schreiber's been in his current role as activities director since 2001. In that time, St. Albert has won 13 state championships, sent 53 teams to state, and won the Iowa Traveling Challenge Cup 6 times. We'll find out a lot more about Ken later in the show. Before we get to today's interview, let's find out what's on the bishop's mind.
It's quite a resume Mr. Schreiber has, so we'll unfold that a little bit. Kelly, it's good to be with you in the new year.
Yes.
And, the great feasts of the Christmas season have yielded now to ordinary time as well. Mm-hmm. But we're sitting here in the spacious new Iowa Catholic Radio studios. We've got the Blessed Mother looking over us here, but it's quite a place, and we were fortunate to bless the altar and the chapel that they have, and on December 16th, and the artwork given to us by Tom Moreland and all that's there. Mm-hmm. Splendid space. It has a sense of, a place where the gospel is to radiate, and so
it's very nice.
Lots of room, and we'll just, I just don't know what to do with myself. So,
we stepped up a class or two.
Jimmy Olsen is taking care of us, and new rapport there. So quite a blessing. So for those who like to stop in and visit, I think that's possible. I don't want to promise something we can't deliver on, but here on 50th Street in West Des Moines. So lots of things have happened. I've been fortunate with the Region 9 bishops of Iowa, Nebraska, Missouri, Kansas to be on retreat. To Archbishop Peter Sarton, retired emeritus bishop of Seattle, gave us a great retreat, a lot of food for reflection and a kind of absorbing all the graces of this time. And so kind of coming back renewed to the cold Iowa winter as well, and the frigid things that are part of that. But conscious, little want to also lift up a great woman of faith who left us in December. I want to remember Irene Schlautman. She was just on the cusp of celebrating her 100th birthday. She was just about to be a centenarian, but a week before, the Lord called her home and hopefully reunited with her husband, Vic, in heaven. And so this great pillar who helped to found Corpus Christi Parish in Council Bluffs, a member of St. Patrick's now, but and obviously building up the Council Bluffs area, but a great woman of the Diocese of Des Moines. And so we commend her to God, and a good and faithful servant in all that she was. So her 6 children and others, I'm sure, remembering her fondly, as many who, Christmas is also a time where they marked absence too, but may there be peace for them. Lots of little signature dates here. We give a shout out today to Bishop Joseph Hannafelt of Grand Island. This is the anniversary of his appointment as bishop back in 2015, today the 14th of January. And then coming up, Bishop Walker Nicholas of Sioux City, 2006, the anniversary of his ordination, installation in 2006 of Sioux City. So his 15th anniversary. And so we know he's approaching his 75th birthday this year. Mm-hmm. We'll see what the Holy Father and the Holy Spirit have in store for him, but a good and faithful shepherd as well. We're coming up also in the Diocese of Sioux City to a day of prayer for world justice and peace in a very special way. So lots of things happening. We were able to gather with our seminarians and clergy, kind of celebrating that fraternity and come together. We invited some young men to join us for a kind of vocation exploration experience at the Jesuit Retreat Center, Creighton Retreat Center in Griswold. And so very encouraging that men are hearing the rumblings of the Spirit in their heart, asking them to consider priesthood as well. So we are in this new year. Again, the birthday of Martin Luther King coming up on Monday. And so we're conscious again, we're wanting to continue to be brothers and sisters to each other, and how the Blessed Mother helps to usher in an era of peace for us. And so even though there's lots of things that we could find reasons why we might be discouraged or melancholy, the faith is always a challenge in our culture, becoming ever more so. But our current circumstances, as Fran Mayer notes in his column, kind of looking forward to the new year, that the faith will be purified and it will become more vigorous, pure, and authentic, and ready to grow again when those false premises of our culture show themselves to be empty promises and not delivering the meaning that we're searching for. And so the hunger that we have for the meaning of our lives, and we turn again to Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, our Prince of Peace. And so may we lift him up.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and in return, we'll welcome Ken Schreiber, who was named Athletic Director for 2022. You're listening to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Spirit Catholic Radio Network.
This is a Young Catholic Minute. Why do I have to listen to the Pope? He's not God. No, he's not. But God did leave us the popes to speak for him, and it's a good thing he did. Otherwise, our teachings, which have stayed constant ever since Christ gave them to us in the beginning, might have gotten corrupted and changed. I mean, can you imagine what would have happened if the U.S. Constitution had fallen from the sky and each person had taken it home and decided what it meant to him? We need the bishops, and especially the Pope, to remind us of what truth really is in the face of ever-changing cultural opinion. Even our worst popes, the ones you've heard about who are murderers or had mistresses or ate ice cream in bed, have never altered church teaching in the least. How is that possible? Because while they may not be personally holy, Christ made their position holy and guards them from teaching in error, so that his church will always be like him. True. For more Young Catholic Minutes, go to youtube.com/youngcatholic.
Welcome back to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen. On today's show, we're visiting with Ken Schreiber, Activities Director of St. Albert Catholic School in Council Bluffs, recently named the 2022 Athletic Director of the Year in Iowa. Schreiber graduated from St. Albert in 1974 and has been in his current role since 1998.
Good morning, Mr. Schreiber. Bishop Joensen, thanks for coming on. And what is, I'm sure, a January that's heated up very much with lots of things going on, the kind of three-ring circus that you oversee as activities director at St. Albert, and a place where not just athletics, but faith flourishes, and the many different gifts of the young people beyond the classroom, but certainly kind of pointing back to that as well. So it's called Making It Personal, and just like to kind of find out a little bit more. We've had a chance to chat a few times, and our mutual love of cycling and things like that as we keep it going. But you're a Council Bluffs guy, your family a native. Just tell us a little bit about that and how, and kind of the rhythm of faith and how St. Albert's came to be a key place for you.
Sure. Born and raised in Council Bluffs. Went to grade school at Queen of Apostles. That was my home parish, still is my home parish here in Council Bluffs. Mm-hmm. Went through grade school there, like I said, and then went to high school from St. Albert and graduated in 1974. Later went on to college at Northwest Missouri State. Played baseball at Northwest Missouri State. I'm married to my wife, Pat, who I love dearly. I have 3 kids. Kyle's my oldest. He's here in Omaha, graduated from Iowa State.
Okay.
Yeah. Jenna's my middle daughter. She's here also in Council Bluffs, but she teaches over in Omaha at Omaha North Math. Okay. And then my youngest daughter is in Davenport as a pharmacist, graduated from the University of Iowa. So very proud of all of them.
Yeah. Marvelous. So did you have siblings growing up? I mean, were you guys like always playing athletics and kind of competing against each other? Did that kind of instill that spirit, or?
Oh, sure, but I had two sisters, so it was a little different there. Right. One of my
back in the 6-player basketball days.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember those.
Yeah.
Kelly was formidable inside.
No, actually, I wasn't.
Okay.
One of my biggest memories, I guess, going back to back to the old days, was when St. Albert first came about, and I was about 5 years old. And I actually, they had a tour of the school of St. Albert, the high school. And I just remember going up with my family and my dad and my grandpa and my great uncle, Father Morris Kennedy, who was the parish priest at St. Peter's in Council Bluffs at the time.
Okay.
And how proud they were that we were actually getting a high school. A Catholic high school at St. Albert's.
What a legacy at 5 years old. Yeah. So you had an uncle who was a priest, so you kind of saw priests as real human beings, and maybe, respect, but not a mystique about them, right? Not unduly. Right. Yeah. So, yeah. Gotcha. Some of our grace in that way. So, obviously the parochial experience, but then Northwest Missouri State, so taking advantage of that, and then University of Nebraska, Omaha. So that foundation that's there. And yet you're kind of not just a career as a teacher, but a sense of vocation kind of drawing you back. Can you talk about how that discernment and that choice was made?
Sure. I always felt very strong towards the Catholic faith, and it was a very important part of my life. And when I first got out of college, I taught at Cathedral High School, which was a great experience, great people there. in Omaha, and I was there for 6 years. Again, strong, faithful community, Catholic faith that just made you feel God's presence and was very, very important in my life. But
as a young freshly minted teacher, did they ask lots of things? I mean, you wore lots of different hats, caps, I guess.
Oh, sure. When I went to Cathedral, I was I was assistant football coach, taught physical education and health. I was assistant football coach. I was a head wrestling coach. I was the head track coach, and I was the head baseball coach.
Oh, wow.
So, and all of that, and Bishop made $9,500. That was my first contract.
And a signing bonus, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, you bet.
Now, let me ask. I mean, did you find yourself coaching sports which you yourself had not played? I mean, the wrestling piece, or I don't know.
No, wrestling was always always part of my life. In high school, wrestled 4 years, played football 4 years. Track, I ran track for 2 years, so track was not the strong point, and so forth. But of course, baseball always was. Went on to college to play and so forth, and then came back to St. Albert and coached and had some success there with a couple state championships and so forth. So your pedigree, there's lots of great success there. But so that passion and the classroom, your physical education, and I guess the gymnasium that's there. How have things evolved in terms of what you've seen in terms of physical education? How young people, where they're at in terms of their health and their zeal to kind of get there and get moving, during the course of a day. Yeah. Physical education in the classroom has changed greatly. It's become more lifetime sport oriented, which is a good thing. Our health is one of our main concerns and should be, and it is really, and especially at St. Albert, has really taken off there as far as that is the center and the core. And that's what we want these kids to be able to leave St. Albert with a good foundation to where they can take care of their bodies. And our administration has been very supportive with that, and I'm very proud of that.
So what would be an example of some lifetime sports or activities that maybe we wouldn't think of automatically? For example, not bocce ball, right? I mean, that's not...
No, not bocce ball, but paddleball.
Paddleball, okay. And now pickleball,
I was
maybe?
going to say, right, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, pickleball is very, very big, very big lifetime sport now, and it's very much taught at St. Albert. But there's always some type of aerobic activity that is taught, too. So there's always some, whether it would be... some type of running or some type of constant movement that's where you get your heart up and really get it going daily, with that. And 3 of our days are of the week are 90-minute classes, so that really helps for that.
Wow.
For PE, so they can do a lot of different things. That's where we're at with that.
Cross-training, almost cross-training, yeah. So, yeah.
We also have a great, and I'm sure you've seen it, great weight room facility that is state-of-the-art, and our teachers really take advantage of that and making sure the kids have a good understanding of what they can do there to make their bodies a lot better, too.
Yeah.
Also.
And rolling the president, she comes in early and she's throwing some weight around, probably clean and jerk, knowing how to deal with it. So she's able to deal with the clergy.
CrossFit,
Yeah.
Oh gosh, we're just joking.
Yeah, it's a new year. We're lightened up here. Okay, so real feather in your cap to be chosen as the 2022 Athletic Director of the Year for the state of Iowa. Recognition by your peers, of whom you've kind of headed the organization of Iowa Athletic Directors. How does that come about? I mean, it's not an endurance test, right? But what kind of things are they looking for? Did you have to fill out an application?
No, I did not have to fill out an application. Basically, there's 5 districts across the state We're in the Southwest District, or Southwest District. There's a Northeast District. There's Central District, which includes Des Moines, and then of course there's the. So let's see, what would it be? There's two other districts at the other end of the state.
But she'll remain nameless at this time. We're fine.
Yeah.
We're fine. We'll move on.
They shouldn't be, but they are in my mind.
Well, obviously, you eclipse them, with your recognition. So
yeah, but the Southwest District nominated me. So, and then I was against four other, I guess, honorees from their district, and who were fantastic nominees. And to tell you the truth, I was really surprised that I received the award, or I'm going to receive the award.
Okay.
Because it is quite an honor, and I really appreciate the fact that the Iowa High School Athletic Directors Association nominated me.
Always to be recognized by your peers is very satisfying. And maybe a little victory lap you'll take around the state on your bike or something, with the trophy or something. But,
there you go.
Now, you mentioned your wife, Pat. I mean, my impression is, for an activities director, and again, the performing arts are involved in this. There's something going on probably every night. Your days, must extend well into the evening. I mean, what kind of sacrifice and what kind of covenant did you have together that this was your calling to do this? And, again, do you feel obliged to be at most events, or where are you in terms of that?
I feel obliged to be at most events. My wife's been very understanding over the years. I wouldn't have been able to do this without her. She's just been awesome. She has actually helped me out many a times with coming up and selling tickets and cleaning the floor or doing whatever she needed to do to work the concession stand or whatever to get things accomplished. But it's a lot of hours. Usually, during basketball season, home between 9:30 and 10. And so forth, 3 days a week probably. But she has been awesome. My kids have been awesome and understanding with the whole deal also. Being an assistant principal for so many years too, assistant principal has a lot of discipline responsibilities, and the kids, or my kids, have probably had to take the wrath of their dad being the guy that had to deliver those discipline situations sometimes, and but they've handled it fantastic and been great. It's great kids, and I have a great wife.
Well, hopefully they didn't have to suffer much ostracism. The good cop, bad cop situation that people are in. But and could you talk a little bit about that, as you're well over a generation now of young people that you've helped to form. What are some of the things that you see impacting them? I mean, obviously, my impressions when I'm at St. Albert's, outstanding young people, but, human nature is human nature. And and how the family situations, and whereas maybe parents had your back before, that's not as automatic as it might have been in a decade or two ago.
Sure. When I first started, I would say you had more parent support. If a kid got in trouble at school, they were going to get in trouble at home. That has changed. It seems like it is more. Parents seem to maybe over support their kids sometimes, but yet again, you understand that parents behave differently when it is their kid. I think they have a good understanding of what is right and wrong, but sometimes they just go a little bit overboard. That's been a big difference here over the years.
I mean, we understand that parents want to advocate and be champions of their son or daughter, but at the same point, the kind of default assumption, and I have a priest friend whose brother was a vice principal in a public school, in a large setting, and he always said at the start of the conversation, let's just not say these words. My kid would never do that. We're not going to use those words in this conversation. Right. So,
You bet.
Yeah, we won't talk about my high school days, but My mom had to lower the hammer there. So my younger siblings learned from me what not to do. So.
Right.
Yeah. And so, but in the ambiance of faith, and we're coming up on about 2 minutes before the break here, so, hopefully you'll be willing to stay with us a little bit. But the Catholic identity, and how does that, fit for you, and how do you seeing that bringing something into the culture of St. Albert that, you're engaged with other parochial, but also public schools. What do you see there?
Well, Catholic identity helps us be able to set a better example, I guess, in the world. Of following God's rule and doing what's right, treating other people like you want to be treated, and so forth. So we try to take advantage of that as much as possible at St. Albert to get that point across. We have our kids with athletics. But especially before COVID, after COVID hit, it became tough. But we'd always have the teams would go to mass on game days and so forth, and to try to get their mind in the right place before and the games and so forth. So. Mm-hmm. That would be, I guess, where I would come from with the Catholic identity.
And whether Mass, but prayer and everything else. And it's not that, there's a sense that God is on our side, but a sense that just, what we're about here is glorifying something more than ourselves and bringing that credit to, of course, the great success. Hopefully you maybe felt like a proud godfather with the baseball team winning the state championship. Mm-hmm. You yourself had won some championships, but to hand the torch on to the next generation there.
Sure. I was very, very proud of the baseball team this summer. Duncan Patterson's our head coach, did a fantastic job, and our baseball team just exemplified a Catholic school with tremendous faith. So I'm very proud of them.
Good. Hey, if you'll hang around, well, we're going to take a little break here. Support for Iowa Catholic Radio provided by the Sarah Vocations Ministry, including the St. Sarah Club of Des Moines and the Sarah Club of Council Bluffs. Sarah is an apostolate of the Worldwide Catholic Church dedicated to fostering and supporting priesthood and religious vocations. Sarahs strive to accomplish their mission through prayer, fellowship, and service to the bishop, priests, sisters, and all in religious formation, and in doing so to increase their own holiness. Learn more at joinsarah.org, joinserra.org. Thank you, Sarahs, for your support of Iowa Catholic Radio.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio provided by the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. Established in Des Moines in 1924, St. Vincent de Paul assists those living in poverty to become self-sufficient by helping to remove roadblocks on their journey out of poverty. St. Vincent de Paul helps with food, clothing, and shelter, while also offering classes in financial literacy, high school completion, career readiness, and prisoner reentry. Shop, donate, volunteer, serve. The Society of St. Vincent de Paul, svdpdsm.org.
Welcome back to Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen. We are back with Ken Schreiber of St. Albert Catholic School in Council Bluffs.
Thanks for staying with us, Ken. And we're grateful. Also want to give a shout out to the Sarans of Council Bluffs and Des Moines who continue to support and sponsor us. But their greater sponsorship is their prayer for religious vocations, priesthood, and all that they do to kind of hold that culture up within the families and beyond. So our Des Moines Diocesan family, very grateful for the support of Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen, as well as the Spirit Catholic Radio family that continues to be with us. So we're grateful for that. Mr. Schreiber, we talk about the pride and the passion. Certainly I experienced that in my younger days as a basketball official. You certainly knew the school pride when you went into a parochial school, whether it was St. Edmunds or Algona Garrigan or other schools, Des Moines Dowling Catholic. Can you talk about your relationship with the officials? Because that's part of your oversight, right? And how there are some you say, yes, we want him or her, and others you're like, thank you very much for your service. Goodbye.
Right. Well, what's going on right now? There's a huge shortage of officials in all sports, and right now we are in the courting phase, I would call it, of trying to keep as many officials as we can. Worried that are we going to have enough officials to be able to cover games, down the road? It seems like it's getting less and less each year. So I think all athletic directors are of the assumption that, we need to try to make them feel as comfortable and as welcome as possible. And also, if there's sportsmanship issues that are going on in the stands, we need to take care of that with whoever it is, parents, students, or whatever, and that officials aren't taking abuse, because that is probably the number one reason why officials are not staying officials or wanting to become officials. So, yeah, it's a huge problem right now. So,
do you think there's a greater intensity from the stands, or that it's more a course than it used to be, or? I mean, we think about the Twitterverse, and what that's done to public discourse. Is that spilling over into the way we kind of relate to each other?
Yes, I believe so. I think, you watch the super fan attitude kind of on the college games. What helps the college officials there is that the fans are so far away from the floor that even though they're loud and crazy, they might have the opportunity probably not to hear everything that's said. In a high school situation, the fans are so close that they're going to hear a lot of that abuse. They're going to take a lot of abuse, unfortunately.
Yeah. So. Well, I mean, and although I don't know to talk to other officials, but I always felt like once the game was on, you were kind of so zoned in and focused. It was only in those idle moments, maybe during a timeout where everything was a little quiet, and then the heckler would come out there. But otherwise, and maybe football, you're more removed, like you say. But even in some of the Cracker Jack gyms, that one works in. But the only bad experience I had really that is etched in memory is a controversial call at the end of the game, and the coach preceded me into the officials' dressing room, got up on the desk, and threw his jacket off, and the activities director was just standing there watching this scene. So not exactly good game management, but all of this has been thickening my skin in a good way, good preparation for becoming a bishop. So you have a beautiful jewel. Things have been renovated. The public entrances to the gymnasium at St. Albert Catholic School. Can you talk about how that? And we're about 30 seconds out here, so just real quickly what that's done to.
Sure, I'm really, really proud of our facility renovation on our basketball gym area and future locker room area, which is hopefully going to change too. But really did some nice things, redid the floor, repainted the whole gym, put 2 new Daktronics
and it really sparkles. And so, guys, we'll have to conclude the conversation today. But thank you so much for making time. And again, congratulations on that recognition that you've received, but all that you've done for our parochial school.
I really appreciate it, Bishop. Thank you for having me on.
This has been another edition of Making It Personal with Bishop Joensen. Thank you to our guests and all of our listeners on Iowa Catholic Radio and the Spirit Catholic Radio Network.
You can hear Making It Personal with Bishop William Joensen every week on Iowa Catholic Radio and iowacatholicradio.com.
Support for Iowa Catholic Radio and Making It Personal is provided by Sarah Vocations Ministry. Learn more at joinserra.org.